Thanks for staying tuned to your station, the Africa Independent Television, and welcome to your program, Security Watch Africa. On this program and on this channel, every Saturday we'll bring you that information you need to keep your life safe and secured. Welcome to the program today. My name still remains Patrick Abambo. Today we are going back to the coronavirus pandemic issues to look at it, because there's new dimension and new issues coming up every day concerning the COVID-19. But before we go ahead with the program, I want to draw the attention of the Ministry of Federal Capital Territory, the Federal Capital Territory Administration, and the Federal Capital Development Authority in charge of the city of Abuja, the capital of Nigeria. Every now and then you see some young cattle rearers on the street, the main metropolis, the municipal of the city, going about with their cows. This is not only causing obstruction, this is nuisance to the society, and also poses security threats because there could be vehicular accidents that will arise. In fact, they have many that comes up here and then, and it may cause a lot of security breach. So I would like to use this opportunity to call all those that are responsible to please quickly put a stop to this. If they must, you must find out a way, a means of managing it properly. You chase, especially the task force, the environmental task force, you chase away street hawkers and you allow those carrying cows to roam the street. It's terrible. I think something urgent must have to be done, and so that we are not animals. We have to act like civilized and civil people, and that is for sure. Yes, let me continue with today's program. Today in the studio already we have our regular guest. We're talking about Dr. Chukwuemeka Kanebi. He's already in the studio. We'll be looking at an angle. Yes, the instructions that exit classes of the schools should resume, and indeed, the most part of the country, Nigeria, they have resumed. We'll be looking at the implication of that, but that will be after this report of what the Nigerian Army did throughout the week in Faskari, Katsina State, in line with making sure that banditry, cattle rustling, and terrorism is put to a stop. Sit back as we bring you this report by Shuli Daniels.
As part of the Nigerian Army reach out to critical stakeholders in Nigerian security, the Chief of Army Staff and some of his principal staff officers hosted political and traditional leaders at the Nigerian Army Super Camp 4 in Faskari, Katsina State from August 8 through to 14th August 2020. Various leaders in the northwest region of Nigeria came calling at the camp. First was Senator Ali Ndume, Chairman Senate Committee on Army, and Honorable Abdulrazak Namdas, Chairman House Committee on Army. These two leaders of the National Assembly were briefed on the security situation in the region and what the Nigerian Army is doing to counter bandits, terrorists, and cattle rustlers. At the end of the briefing, Senator Ndumi and Honorable Namdas shared their impression on Nigerian Army operations nationwide.
We have been able to know the achievements and see for ourselves. We have been able to witness the exercise Sahel Sanity, and we have also, most importantly, been able to see the operational equipments at the disposal of the Nigerian Army, and know the loopholes and other gaps that needs to be filled. And overall, I think we are on the right track, especially in terms of squarely addressing the issue of banditry.
Senator Ndume disclosed that he was able to celebrate this year's Salah in his hometown in Goza after 10 years, adding that the military presence has given sense of safety and comfort in recent times, even though the issue has to do with internal security, which the army has no business with.
You don't expect the army to fight war or face these challenges with all roads motorable, and as you can see, it's not part of their complaint. The army are trying to operate in different, difficult, inaccessible environment. Despite the challenges of the equipments and the environment, the Nigerian Army are known for their resilience. The only difference is that this time around they are fighting a different war from the northeast, from the banditry here, all are unconventional war. And in fact, it is not the Nigerian Army work to be engaged in internal security issues. This ordinarily is supposed to be issue that is supposed to be addressed by police, mobile police and that. But because of the dire need of it to have peace and order back, the President's commitment, that's why the Nigerian Army is quickly drafted to do this.
The both showered the Nigerian Army with accolades.
And as you can see, unlike before, you just go for assignment, there's a functioning kitchen there, there's a functioning hospital, there's functioning mechanical workshop, there's functioning church. Even I saw church and mosque there, and I think what we have here is very comprehensive. And as you can see from the faces of our troops, their morale is very, very high here, ready to do the work, and maybe that is why it is responsible for the successes recorded so far.
I think the Nigerian Army has recorded a lot of successes in terms of arrests, in terms of freeing hostages, kidnapped victims, and then even recovering a lot of arms. This has really made my day. Because before now, we have had instances of attacks either in Sokoto, Zamfara, Katsina, in communities where over 30, 40 people kill in a day. Now, with this kind of successes that have been recorded, I think if this can stay here for about 2-3 months, we are going to see a lot of achievements.
From the views of Senator Ndumi and Honorable Namdas, it is obvious that the Nigerian Army is doing everything possible in the fight against insurgency, and Nigerians are expected to support them. Shirley Daniels, Security Watch Africa, Katsina State.
Yeah, welcome back. That was Shirley Daniels reporting from Faskari in Katsina State. Let's go to the report on the COVID and the resumption of school.
Education is the bedrock of a society, and it is a fundamental right of every child. But when disrupted, could cause chaos, teenage pregnancies, and unthinkable vices amongst boys. And children may forget all they have learned in the past years. And this could pose as a threat to the family and society. With the devastating event of COVID-19 pandemic around the globe, educational activities were suspended. Millions of children all over the world have been out of school for fear of an outbreak. With the clamor for the resumption of schools, the federal government of Nigeria issued a directive for students of exit classes to resume. Many had expressed mixed feelings to the directive and the safety measures put in place to protect both the students and the school authorities. Security Watch Africa went around the streets to find out how Nigerians feel about school resumption.
Well, there is nothing wrong about resuming back to school. For the children who have stayed for so long, they don't really understand so much the risk involved while they are being kept at home. They are getting worried so much that they want to return back to school because a lot is being happening around them, that even as parents we are no longer comfortable with their staying at home. So if all things are put in place to see to their safety over the pandemic, yes, why not? Returning to school now is the best.
I think it's still premature for school to resume now because the fact that people are moving around doesn't mean that this pandemic is over. So I don't think it is wise for school to resume now. That is just the bottom truth.
I think it's time for schools to reopen. It's a good time because you can see the curve is slowing down. The coronavirus spread slowing down as long as there are healthy measures put in place. So I think it's high time school resume. Well, our major concern, you can see students staying at home, they are not really learning. Not everybody reads these days. So going back to school makes them to be abreast with their educational activities.
As a parent, with what we are hearing all over the world, to me personally, the children should stay at home until the people in charge, WHO, are able to get the vaccine or the antivirus. That's just it. To me, I love my children. When they get out there or into the school, you can't caution children not to play with A or B or C. That is my own opinion.
I'm so much happy because at least not only me, the children too are very much happy. Secondly, they have stayed at home for a very long time, and majority of the parents, most of them were not able to send their children to lessons, and most of them didn't have time to teach the children. And secondly, concerning this online training, a lot of children were complaining that they could not really understand what is going on and they feel bored. And by the time they finish listening to it and you now ask them what is happening, what did you learn from the online, they were like, nothing. And I'm so much happy because another one is that if you go to all these rural areas, a lot of them, there is no light for them to, be partaker of the online training. So I'm so much happy. At least they are coming up.
Government opening school is advisable because children have stayed at home for so long, and the parents should be advised to strictly abide by the federal government rules and regulations concerning this coronavirus. If they do that, and the children are used to wearing their face mask, just as I'm wearing my own now, I think there will be no problem.
I'm appealing for the federal government to release the children to go back to school because this sickness is not for us.
We feel the pain because I'm of the opinion if there's need of school to conduct any test for the children, for them to resume school, because as it is now, we are finding, even with the parents, we are finding it so difficult to control them at home. And you will be at work and your child will be at home playing there. You won't know what is happening. So we have the opinion if there's any way that school will conduct any test for the children, for the school to open. Because even with the parents, we are finding it so difficult to be at work and your mind is at home.
The situation we found ourselves was nobody's fault. It's a pandemic worldwide. It's not only Nigeria. As a parent, all of us are worried, but at the same time, the children should be alive to attend school, to go to school. And the federal government also is for the best interest of both the parents and the pupils. So whenever they deem fit to reopen the school, whenever they feel the atmosphere is clear, and the situation is safe for everyone, and then we can open school, irrespective of the delay.
To find out the state of schools and compliance to issued protocols, we visited one of the schools and spoke with the principal, some teachers and students.
The government has done a lot. Reason is that initially before this partial resumption, really almost all hopes are lost. But immediately the government announced that the exit class are resuming. Believe you me, not only parents, everybody, both the administrators, parents, even the teachers that have been sitting down at home for almost 4 or 5 months, really everybody, became happy.
Before the reopening of the school, we have always found a way to get across to the students through online process, and we encourage them. So with the reopening of the school, the school made provision for washing stations, for hand wash, for sanitizers. Temperature must be checked, and the moment they get to their classes, they must be seated in their allotted seats. So there is physical distancing, that is the 2 feet is always maintained at all times. We do not allow them to share food, to share anything like pencils, erasers or anything. They have their own personal writing materials which they use, so we don't allow it. They don't even go out to get things to buy. So they must come to school with their food and they eat in their classrooms. No social, and when school is over, we make sure they file out individually so that they don't mix up amongst themselves.
In our school, specifically Government Secondary School, Gariki, you can see our principal here, you can see the VP admin, the VP academics. They did a lot of orientation. They talked to the staff. You can see every one of us. You can see my face mask. You can see the hand sanitizers. So the students were well mobilized. And in terms of the seating arrangement, we made sure that they are not crowded together. So we had to come up with 10 classroom blocks, each containing 20 students. And the spacings were there. So the compliance has been total.
I'm very happy coming back to school. I've missed school. I've missed writing, like the work we were supposed to write since last 3 months. We missed it because of the pandemic, but I'm happy coming back to school.
Me coming back to school, I'm happy about the government releasing us to come back to school.
I felt very happy because at first I thought I'm going to repeat, seriously. So when I heard that school is going to resume, I was very happy that I'm going to write YA just for the first and last time, but I thought I was going to repeat. I was very sad by that time, but now that I heard that school is going to resume, I was very happy.
It is pertinent to note that government is ready to reopen schools. Exit classes are on right now. Pupils have come back to school. We are right here in Government Secondary School, Area 10, Garki, Abuja. And it is so exciting to note that every student has a hand sanitizer and a face mask. That means government has made provision for the safety of these children. Kudos to the Nigerian government. Students are back to school and we hope for the best, and we hope that other classes can come back to school. This is Peggy Agbe reporting for Security Watch Africa, Abuja.
Come back. Yeah, that was a report on setting the tone for our discussion. You can join us via Facebook. It's streaming live there, or YouTube is also live, so you can follow us with the discussion. Yes, let me come to you, the expert on the. Yeah, you have listened to the report, diverse views. What is your own take?
You know, it's not a straight shoot. You know, it has different sides to it. And we saw that from the interviews. We have the side that believes that we should stall a bit, you know, until things calm down much more. And then we also have the side that says, we've been waiting for this all along. Let's hit the ground running. And they both have their own peculiar, you know, views on that, and they all have advantages, and we should look at that critically. So looking at the side that feels that students should go back to school, yes, of course, it's been a long time. Like I say, like I've said previously, the fallout from the pandemic, we will see, in fact, some of the things we won't see now, we'll see the effects in the future. There's been one report I read that said that even engaging students online have exposed our kids to some cyber exposures that are not necessary for them, or they wouldn't have been regardless. Talking about those that have access to the internet, access to electricity. These are some things to look at. So these were some of the fallouts from the pandemic, and a lot of students have forgotten what school feels like, what education, learning, and the process. Also, this came with, imagine a country where we're trying to get students into school and something like this happens. So civil society organizations that have been working, NGOs that have been working to push students to school, are seeing that a lot of their gains are being lost. Yeah. A lot of their gains are being lost. So it's more like investments that are going down the drain, and we need to work hard to ensure that those gains, we sustain them. Now, looking at those that say it's not yet time, they're looking at what's happening. And you know, and I know, we're looking at the markets, we're looking at the churches. When you, like now we're starting with the exit classes, we're gaining some control. It's like when the religious gatherings started little, we could see adherence to guidelines. But you know, and I know that right now, it's really a smaller proportion of people that are adhering. So those are their fears. Are we ready? Are we actually ready as a country, as the Ministry of Education? Are they ready to say, let our students be, and parents are confident that as my child goes out, that they will be safe, that there's safety, they're learning in a secure environment, and then they come home even better than they left. These are some of the concerns that parents would have.
Yeah, because this concern seems to be global, because countries like Israel that reopened, they had to shut down when there was a spike among the children. In South Africa, particularly, over 90 children died. I mean, after the resumption and all that, the spike went up and they closed. So I think there's genuine reasons, but how do we strike the balance now?
So basically, I like what you said. We still need to look at our data. So we basically have the NCDC, the Federal Ministry of Education, the Nigeria Emergency in Education Technical Working Group. They've come up with guidelines. And some of these things highlight certain things that need to be done. There needs to be an analysis. Look at our data. What are we seeing even amongst children? What are the trends like? Are we seeing mortality mortalities in children? What are they spiking? Are they going now? What is it like? What are the trends like? And then we could now use that to say, okay, now even with what's happening, starting with the exit classes, in the next couple of weeks, we'll be able to, and throughout the senior school certificate examinations, we'll be able to see what is going on. Are we getting more children infected? Well, we need to critically look at our data.
Have agencies that can help to conduct this.
I think there are people who are waiting. The truth is that in the country and everywhere in the world, there are people, there are bodies, there are organizations that are just waiting for opportunities like this to gather this data. So the NCDC, I believe, is prepared. The Federal Ministry of Education, they're also prepared. And like I said, the Nigeria Education in Emergencies Technical Working Group, they're also prepared to ensure that this data is collected, so we know what we're doing and we can adjust as we go along, which is very important. But let me say this. I would say that if you've noticed, one thing that we have to put at the back of our mind, we're sending majorly our students back to school. Are we putting out there child-centric information?
Beautiful. That is
child-centric child-centric information that says, I'm targeting pupils, I'm targeting the learners, I'm targeting teachers, because it's like basically just going like a sub. Instead of saying the general population, I have to target, okay, what do my learners need? What do even the administration of learning institutions, what do they need? And particularly the different age groups that we're sending out back into school. What information are we telling them? Because our kids are very smart. We're in an age where children are very intelligent and they could pick up information. So are we sending child-centric information that they can utilize, and then information that would help them adhere to the correct guidelines that can stop the spread or halt it basically, and then keep the students safe and continue learning.
That's one of the respondents during the interview on the street. It said that we see the curve, we seem to be strengthening the curve. It's because the figures since August seems to be lower and lower. But NCDC actually said, listen, this is false hope, because it's because of lack of testing. So it seems. So what
Patrick, thank you for that, bringing that out. We still, like I said, our data, you don't just look at data like that, and that's what the NCDC is doing. They're looking at data critically, and then when they see a drop, and everywhere in the world, you need to ask yourself, what is really going on? But the NCDC, they're thinking they're not testing enough. And talking about people going back to school, let's talk about boarding facilities. So we're asking, do we have enough testing capacity to test everybody who is going into a boarding facility? And you know that now they're in there, there's no, external, influence on them. So these are things that we need to look at before saying. But the truth is that basically, I know people have been predicting that Africa is about to be the next epicenter. The disease is going to come and everything. But we can also look at it in another light. Are there things in Africa? Are there things in Nigeria that have just placed us in a different tangent when it comes to this pandemic? And why, like somebody said in a previous report, what are our scientists doing? What are our own resources doing to say, could we be the people that come up with something for one of, we've done this a couple of times, but people don't see us, but could we be one of the people to say, okay, we found something in the genes of Nigerians, in the genes of Africa.
Because really it's tending towards that. When a lot of people thought Africa would be the epicenter, it seems
it's delaying.
Would
it come? Whatever, it might, but whatever. This is what we have right now.
Yeah, with the statistic we have from the NCDC for last night, it's a 9 deaths in 24 hours, within 24 hours. That was quite worrying. And a lot of people, even younger people, are getting are dying from this now. I think it's
exactly. Like I always say that somebody dying from COVID, we need to, what was the autopsy like, you know, because there could be people die regardless of COVID-19. So we need to make sure, is this death directly connected to COVID-19? But like I said, looking at our numbers still, somebody once said, I'm having a conversation with somebody last week and they said, if people are dying in Africa, you would know. You understand what I mean? I mean, if the height of death was really, so people, yes, the death toll is terrible, but like I said, let us start looking within and saying what is ensuring the slowness, because I still feel it's still slow in Africa.
I think we'll have to look that in our next episode of this program, what is slowing it down,
slowing
so that we can
down.
Find a better way to go about it. Yes, we're getting signed. We must leave for other programs to continue, and after this program, it will be call for prayers. So it's a pleasure having you back in the studio again. So we'll look at it again.
That's not a problem.
Until we come your way again next week, I say thanks for watching and remain blessed.